Morning, guys. How's everyone doing this morning? Please let me know if you can hear me. Um, we're preparing to travel, so my microphone is packed up, and I'm using some AirPods for the walk and talk this morning. Please let me know if there's any difficulty hearing me. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being up. Once again, it's Oloropo coming to you with your morning dose of motivation. It is 4:46 here on the on the East Coast of the United States. It is a brisk morning. Um, Today is Thursday, September the 11th. The year is 2025, people. 2025. Let's get up, people. Let's get started. Let's get at movement. Let's get at activity. Let's get it to our purpose. Let's live our life. Let's not wait for the day to set upon us. Let's set upon the day with positivity. As always, people, as you check in, please drop in where you're checking from, what time of day it is where you are. Let me know what's on your mind. I want to have a conversation today, and this is not really what we do here on the channel. This is very rare. Um, the channel is about growth, motivation, development, self accountability, and building your wealth, building your future. Thank you for being here. Good morning. Building your legacy and your part in it. What's your investment? What do you do? How are you working to build your legacy? Thank you, everyone, for being here. We do have a poll question this morning. This one's pretty straightforward. Yes or no? Are guns for protection? Not a topic that I really broach much, but in light of yesterday's events, I felt like I wanted to take a moment to speak on a topic. As I always say, if there's something relevant to you, if there's something that you want to talk about, or if there's something a cause that you want to take up, the best way you can do it is by becoming the best version of yourself. You want to make sure your parents can retire early, then you need to put in the work to grow your wealth, grow your knowledge, grow yourself as a person to provide that. You want to make sure your children and your grandchildren have the ability to have a more secure, more stable, more trustworthy foundation or start than you have. And you have to invest in yourself. We are individuals, we're human, and we have to remember that. We've gotten to a point in this world and in this society, specifically the current political climate here in the United States, where we are devaluing one another and we're not human. I want to say good morning and God bless you to everyone. Thank you for stopping in. As always, please check in with where you're checking in from, what time of day it is where you are. My glasses are a little dirty this morning, but I thank everyone for being here. I'm going to focus on Charlie Kirk this morning. I don't know if you guys are putting anything into the chat or not. I am not seeing anything on my end. So if you are putting things into the chat, guys, I'm not seeing them. If you can or cannot hear me, which I hope you can, uh, please let me know. All right. Mm. Good morning. All right. So you can hear me. There we go, guys. Speak for. Thank you. Rizmits, thank you. Last day on earth. All right. Thank you very much. The Mikado 16. Well done, Charlie. Is with Jesus right now celebrating. Uh, for those who can't, I says I can hear you. I got your location and five minutes away. That's from Rizmeister, King of the Riz. All right, Rizmeister. So here's what we're talking about this morning, guys. I'm glad you guys are able to hear me. I'm now able to see the comments. Uh, Chris says tonight's my last night. So here's the thing, guys. Um, we're all about motivation on this channel. We're about positivity. We're about the lives of individuals mattering and your life mattering to you. We're about you taking the time to understand your purpose, your goal, living with values and moving towards those with purpose, taking care of those who love, understanding that wealth is not about money, but it's about the time you spend with the people you care about most, doing what you want to do where you want to do it. I want to give everybody a quick shot of the top of the hill where I walk up to in the morning. Again, thank you everyone for being here. As you check in, please do me a favor. Let me know where you're checking in from, what time of day it is, where you are. I'm here in Maryland. It is 4:52 in the morning. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this walk and talk. Uh, hope it's not the last day for you, Chris. Uh, and Robert, PA, 5 a.m. Thank you for checking in, Robert. Thank you for being here. Tom, also, thank you for being here this morning. What we're talking about this morning, guys, what I like to talk about every morning is positivity. It's about growth. It's about motivation. It's about understanding that life is meant to be lived and we should all be living. Here's the thing that's happening in the world. Here's the thing that's dangerous in the world. As we are living our lives in the real world, people are being dehumanized on a regular basis on our social media platforms, on our television shows, on our news, on all of these things, we're looking at people and we're dehumanizing them. And what this dehumanization does is it reduces the value and the empathy that people have for when a life is lost. I'm pretty sure most of us are aware that yesterday, Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, born in Illinois, married for less than 4 years, two children, the oldest born in 2021, I believe 2019, I believe, would have been about 6 years old, somewhere around there. We all have this ability to see Charlie Kirk as this demonstrative figure who had strong conservative views and spoke and defended um, at a very high level the Second Amendment and American Christian values and um, evangelicals. And so this is who he was. This is who he was in the spotlight. But he was married with two children, which means he did things like watch Bluey, have tea parties, put on makeup, change diapers, wake up in the middle of the night, bounce babies on his knees, love and kiss them goodnight, tuck them in bed, fix them breakfast, wipe away their tears. He was a human being. He had a wife who cared about him, who loved him, who looked forward to seeing him when he came home from work and came off of business trips. And he was murdered. And then we have the ability to frivolously discuss these people's lives. We have to take ownership in who we are, people. It doesn't start at the end, it starts at the beginning. We have to own who we are, what we do, what we say. When we own who we are, what we do, and what we say, and we focus on building versus tearing down, it changes the world. It changes the world around us. It changes how we see each other. We can disagree. I can disagree with you. But if I use my disagreement to tear you down, it's the wrong approach. It's no different than you disagreeing with the behavior that you're taking. As we try to have a better diet, if we try to improve our fitness, as we try to graduate from school and move up in our education, we may do things that we look back on and we disagree about. Man, that was a bad thing that I did. Man, that wasn't the right choice. But I don't tear myself down for it. I can't kill myself for it. we can't we can't be so hard on ourselves that we reduce our own value. This is where depression and anxiety comes from. It's because we have gotten to the point that we don't value ourselves. So we're talking this morning about Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk made many inflammatory statements. When Paul Pelosi was attacked, Charlie Kirk said if someone wanted to be, and I'm paraphrasing, if someone wanted to be a true American patriot, they would go bail him out, saying that the person who attacked Paul Pelosi in his house with a hammer needed to be supported. He said it with a smile. Later, he said, "Oh, I was just joking." Charlie Kirk also said, "Hey, I applied to the military academy, right? Wanted to go to school there. I was denied." And then he said, "I was denied because they chose somebody else who was less qualified because of affirmative action." No validity to it. Nothing supported it. He even came out later and says, "No, that's what someone told me." He changed that to, "No, it was just a joke." The man's 31 years old. Scientific study shows that the human brain does not fully develop until it's 25. But by the age of 14, you've developed all of the sensory needs necessary to be a full functioning human. The ability to procreate, the desire to do so, the desire to grow, to develop, the desire to be in charge of your life. All of those things are in you as a teenager. You're still a decade away. You're still 10 years away of being able to understand what those things mean, understand what those things are to you. You're a decade away from that. That man's 6 years. He was 6 years past the age of 31. His launch onto the political scene was a paper that he wrote in high school. It's a paper he wrote in high school, intentionally inflammatory, and it got him on the Fox News. He spoke well. He went to a junior college. He didn't finish a single semester because someone told him, "You will never make as much money doing whatever you're looking to get a degree in as you will being in front of people saying these things." He was taught, he was raised, he was put into the position. And then many times he was given what to say. Why is this relevant? It's relevant, people, because we all have a responsibility to take ownership for who we are, how we care for ourselves, and how we care for others. We have to take ownership for our actions. I've been told repeatedly my entire life that I need to pull up my bootstraps, take ownership for who I am, and dig myself up out of whatever hole I find myself in. I have to stop looking at other people and looking for answers. I have to stop looking at other people and looking for opportunities. I have to stop looking at other people and looking for the way out. I have to do it. I have to get up and do it. It doesn't matter what's in front of you. I have to be accountable to me. I have to be self aware and accountable. It's the part of the discipline. Charlie Kirk was dehumanized because there was a character that was built in public, that was promoted in public. And now that he's been assassinated at the young age of 31, he's somebody's child. He is a husband. He has two children. He's a father. He was assassinated at the age of 31. And now we want to humanize him. Now we want to talk about the things that shouldn't have been done. Now we want to consider, oh my goodness, he's a person. But we don't get here by accidents, people. We're walking around in our lives, and everybody we don't know, we're dehumanizing. I don't know you. So I'm going to use stereotypes to categorize you. I'm going to put you into this group. I'm going to say you are this because I don't know you and and you have no human value to me. There was a school shooting in Colorado. It's the exact same thing. When you reduce someone's value in their own eyes, you reduce your own value. Good morning. Uh, Good stuff. How are you doing? Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you for checking in. Fort Worth, 3:53 a.m. from Speak for Those Who Can't. Elite, we don't got no empathy for Charlie Kirk. Dehumanized. Alton I'm not sure what that says. Dog eat dog. Welcome in. How are you doing today? No one deserves to be murdered. Full stop. Exactly, Speak for. Not for words, not for anything. Charlie Kirk was a young man. When I was a young man, I said a lot of regretful things. Indeed, we have. Indeed, we have. When I was a young man, I did the same thing. I did. He's a human. I have a wife and 7 children. I tell you what's interesting, right? And my wife told me this. When I started this channel, I said, man, I'm not going to put my family on here. This is about the business that we're doing. I'm not going to try to market myself as, hey, here's this character and I'm playing these family roles. No, I want to keep my family life private. I want to keep that separate from this. I want to protect my family. That was my thought. I was doing a live in my office one day while my daughter was taking a nap. She woke up from her nap and she came into the office and she was like, hey, I'm like, that's my baby. There was a person in the chat who was saying all types of rude things. And I don't really pay attention to trolls when they come in the chat. I don't pay attention to people who are trying to destroy others and reduce other people's value. I don't, doesn't have a lot. This is why I don't do a lot of politics. This is why I don't know a lot about the different politicians and activists and spokespeople. I don't, because I'm not in the politics. I'm in the people. I'm in the humans. I'm in the life. I'm in the growth. I'm into development. This dude was saying all of this stuff. I mean, he was just, you think about it. Um, I don't care if he was trying to call me gay, call me dumb, call me ugly, be racist. Didn't matter. He was just saying everything he could say. And then my daughter walked in and climbed in my lap. He says, oh man, she's beautiful. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had children. My wife told me before it happened, she says, you need to allow the children to be a part of what you do because it makes you human in people's eyes. And I'm like, nah, I mean, I don't really think that's needed. My wife says, listen, you can go out and talk to people all the time, say what you want to say, and you're a character. You're a talking head. You're a spokesperson. You're a voice. Let the children be a part of what you do, and it changes. You become a person. You become a father. You go from just being a person to selling you something to being a freaking individual who exists. And it increases your value in people's eyes because you're now human. It is so easy for us to dehumanize others and to reduce their value and not care about them and be dismissive with it. This is not a way to build ourselves. And just so you know, not really into politics, but I'm definitely not a conservative. I don't I don't believe aligning my faith with a political party is appropriate. As a born again, baptized child of God, Christian, I don't believe that someone can say, "Hey, I'm like you. Do what I say do because I'm like you." I don't follow that. I don't follow men. I follow God. I follow God's words. I apply it to my life. So when I see people say things like Charlie Kirk, who says the right to bear arms is a God given right, and then tie it to the Constitution. We sit here and we do these things to dehumanize people, to reduce people, and to move ourselves into a superior position. This is the same God. Keep in mind, the God of the Christians is the same God of the Jews. Got to study. We got to figure it out. It's the same God. We just believe God sent Jesus to redeem us of our sins so that all men could be called unto him. So we're going to sit here and we're going to reduce anybody of Jewish descent to a Jew. They don't have value. We made it like they're characters, like they're not real, like they don't bleed real blood, like they don't have family, like they don't have their own life to live. If we continue to focus, and it's not accidental that it shows up in front of you, people. It's not accidental that it shows up in front of you. If everything that you see is about somebody reducing somebody else's value, we lose pieces of ourselves constantly. I'm old enough to remember Columbine. I'm old enough to remember Columbine. And when Columbine happened, just the sheer devastation of children, killing children in that manner was just heartbreaking on every level. No one knew what to do. We covered it for months. We tried to figure out what was going on. They had a mass shooting in Colorado yesterday, September the 10th, 2025. Mass shooting. And it's not even the top story in the news. Children being murdered in their classes. And it's not even the top story in the news. Why? Because Charlie Kirk gets more clicks. Not because they care more about Charlie Kirk, not because the people on there are like, hey, Charlie Kirk is the president. No, Charlie Kirk is the draw. Colorado might care about a school shooting, but we've done it so much now. The story is old. Come on, school shootings, that's so passe. It's not in anymore. You don't get like, you don't get anything for school shootings. We don't even talk about the shooters anymore. We mentioned there was a school shooting. 6 people were died. Here's a couple of stories about how people were heroic. 3 days later, it's off the news. They don't even come back to update you on whether or not the people got convicted. They don't give you any background on where they're from. They're being tried as adults. Let's move on because don't worry, within the next 60 days, we'll have another one. We'll have another school shooting. Charlie Kirk is famous for saying that the cost of lives, it is okay, essentially, now I'm paraphrasing, that it is okay to have the cost of lives validate or allow for us to maintain our Second Amendment rights. It's an okay price to pay. It's an okay cost to pay. And now he's paid the price. He's lost his life. It's dehumanizing. So when a person came up and asked the question yesterday, and this is where you guys need to check in and see how we are going about reducing our own value in other people's eyes. When he came up and the person asked the question is, do you have any idea how many gun deaths there are this year? And he picked up the microphone, and the first thing he had to say was a little smirky joke, gang or non gang related, right? Gang related or non gang related, right? And I get what the joke is. I get it. I get it. Right. So, how many of them were illegal criminals, mostly inner city thugs, gangsters, criminals, drug dealers? How many of them were those versus how many of them were legal gun owners, right? There is a way that we dehumanize people. I grew up at a time when it was okay to say to black people, you're very articulate. What was that surprising to you? I was born and raised here. What was that a compliment? So we have this way of creating these these views of people and dehumanizing them. He's a conservative, he's a progressive, he's a socialist, he's a communist. We dehumanize people to the point Paul Pelosi was attacked in the front of his house, and there were repeated jokes circulated. He's somebody's husband, and somebody attacked him with a hammer, and we don't care enough to speak on it. We don't care enough to care about the person. Atlas says, "Hey, I want to ask something." Go ahead, ask. Go ahead, Atlas. Ask. Rich, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Atlas, go ahead, ask your question. I don't have a problem with answering any questions. So far in the poll, people, we have voters, and 80% of people say that guns are for protection. 80% of the people say guns are for protection. Please make sure you vote in the poll. Noah, good morning, brother. How are you doing this morning? Good to see you. Atlas, if you're still there, please feel free to ask whatever question you want. I don't believe guns are for protection. I don't think we should be denied access to them. I also support the Second Amendment right. But guns are not for protection. They're not. Listen, as long as we keep telling ourselves this falsehood, we'll be ill prepared to care for ourselves. You do not protect yourself with a gun, right? You don't. No one uses a gun to protect themselves. It's not protection. You can do a lot of things to protect yourself. You can't protect yourself with a gun. You cannot. Now, say what you want to, and I'm going to prove you wrong. Say whatever you want to about protecting yourself with a gun. You're wrong. A gun is not for protection, period. Point blank. It's not. And we can run down a list and I can show you that you're wrong. Now, here's the thing I support gun ownership. I understand the importance on learning how to use a gun, load a gun, how to carry, how to aim, how to shoot. But I No, it's not for a defensive weapon. Ivan said this will continue to happen. Copycats, come on, they do. Ivan says, I do. Ivan, guns aren't for protection. We'll get into it in a moment. I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is made up, new age term that it does a lot of damage. I don't even know where that statement's coming from, Tay. You disagree? Why not? Please answer. Atlas, where's your question at, Atlas? I didn't see your question, Atlas. Put your question back in so I can answer it. International Day says, I can't stand the word. Okay, so you put it back in there. I don't know what you're coming at. Empathy isn't made up. It's not new. Maybe you are, but empathy isn't. That's what Charlie Kirk's. Oh, so you say that's what Charlie used to say. Got you. Scroll up how far, man? You said, can I ask you a question? Um, ending it all. No, it's not there. Looking for you, Atlas. I'm looking for you, Atlas. Hey, I want to ask you a question. Sure. Bro, I want to ask you something. Sure. Problems. Ivan Curry, International, New Age. I disagree. Atlas, please answer. I need you to put it back in there. You commented 3 times, but I don't see a question. I see you say, please answer. I see you say you want to ask a question. Bro, I want to ask you something, but I don't see the question. Here's what I'm going to tell you about guns, why guns are not a defensive item, why guns are not for protection. Guns are not for protection because guns are for scoring points. Guns are on offense. Guns are offensive weapons, which is why they tell you, no, let's watch, which is why they tell you don't pull a gun until you're prepared to shoot it. Anybody who's been trained on a firearm has been told, do not pull out your firearm until it is absolutely necessary. And when you pull it out, you must be prepared to go on offense, to attack. A bulletproof vest, defensive. A helmet, defensive. Trying to talk down the situation, defensive. Running, hiding, defensive. Bars, doors, bulletproof glass, defense, defense, defense. Pop, pop, pop. Offense. It's not for protection. It's for offense. It is to score points. It is not to protect me. It is to eliminate threats. That's not protection. That is an offensive weapon. It is not a defensive tool. And as long as we keep telling ourselves that guns are for protection, then we're wrong. There were plenty of guns around Charlie Kirk, and he wasn't protected. Guns are not for protection. There were plenty of guns around Ronald Reagan, plenty of guns around Donald Trump, plenty of guns around people, and they weren't there to, they didn't protect them. But when they were used in an offensive capacity to take down the target, which they did to the attempted assassinator of Donald Trump. Why is it relevant? Why does that even matter? Because if we keep lying to ourselves about who we are, what we do, how we think, what we're doing, if we keep lying to ourselves, then we'll never change to make the appropriate decisions, to take the appropriate actions, to live and walk in the right way because we're making excuses for ourselves. You have to stop making excuses. We have to accept the reality of what is. And when we do that, we'll stop dehumanizing people. Charlie Kirk was a character on television. He was a character on college campuses. He was a character and he made money. He created business after business after business. He and another person created Turning Point, and I can't remember the guy's name, Robert something, I believe. And then he created affiliates of it that made millions of dollars. It was a business. You don't know his partner's name because his partner wasn't a voice. Charlie Kirk was the attraction. He is he's the entertainment. He's the face of the movement. He's a human being. He's a person. And then we dehumanize them and watch them die. And no one has shed a tear since it has happened. We're so quick to say, oh, well, people got what he got what he had coming. Did he though? Did his wife? Did his children? Okay, fine. He's a piece of crap. You want to say he's a piece of crap? He's a piece of crap. Fine. But what about his children? What about his wife? What about his parents? What about his friends, the people who cared about him and talked to him and spent time with him? What about other Chicago Cubs fans? He was a big Chicago's Cubs fan. Wore a lot of Cubs. He was born in Illinois, grew up, I believe, in Prospect Heights, something like that, a suburb of Chicago. And he was a big Cubs fan. And he could sit down with people, the same political affiliation or not. He would go to a stadium with thousands of people from varying backgrounds, varying walks of life, and they would all cheer for the Chicago Cubs. All of them would cheer for the Chicago Cubs. Why? Because that's who he is as a human. Those are the things that bring us together. You sit down and say, hey, man, I love the Cubs. Me too. You remember when this happened? You remember when this happened? You remember when this happened? Yeah, man, that was awesome. Then the conversation turns to, hey, I'm a Republican, man, I'm a Democrat. All of a sudden, these two people who were just getting closer and closer together are at each other's throats. And there's more to bring us together than rip us apart, people. And we're losing that part of ourselves. We're losing that humanity. His character got him killed. What got him killed? His character put him in the limelight. Those are sick people. International Tay say, why would we cry for him? It's in God's plan. His character didn't get him killed. A crazy person did. He was a big fan of the game, too. Got him taken out. So what if he was a fan of guns? He's a baseball fan. We're going to ignore all the hate speech, sticks and stones. No, we're not going to ignore all the hate speech. But this is the problem. This is what I'm trying to say, is that's a character. I'm going to let y'all know how old I am. I remember New Jack City, right? I remember New Jack City. And, and in New Jack City, um, Wesley Snipes was the kingpin in New Jack City. Uh, and Nino Brown, he was a fictional character. And I remember people walking around, I'm Nino Brown. I'm Nino Brown. He's a character. People walk around with Scarface from the old movie. They walk around with Scarface on their t shirts because he represents an ideal for them. He is a character. That is not the real person. There was an actor who played him. And we dehumanize people on a regular basis because Charlie Kirk is playing a part. Yes, he wants you to believe that all of these things are really important to him. But more than anything, he wants to make money. And so he gets on TV and he becomes this character. He does it for maybe an hour every couple of weeks. This is what I'm talking about. And we think that's his life. We think that's who he is. That's the definition of that person. That tells me all I need to know about him. He likes guns. Yes, he makes statements that diminishes the value of people. He says things that I believe are outright racist. He aligns himself with organizations and causes that are designed to bring division. Yes, yes, we have to be responsible. I'm 100% on the side of, dude, you are responsible for what you say, what you do, and how you act. That's on you. I teach my children, hey, you can do whatever you want to, but you better be prepared to live with whatever the consequences are. If I tell you to be in here at 11 and you show up at 1 in the morning, going to be consequences. Hey, don't let me tell you, but don't believe you can't come in at 1 o'clock in the morning. You most certainly can stay out to 1 o'clock in the morning. There's going to be a price to pay. Dude, my heart goes out to the loss of anyone's life. Anyone loses a family member. Been through it. Of people who know me, I lost my dad to cancer at the beginning of the year. I've lost family members. I lost my brother years ago, my older brother. 40, I believe he was 46 when he passed. I'm talking about knowing the value of a human and then removing that value from them. Noah said this should show us how crazy both sides are. It's just us not being human. There is a price to pay. Uh, you got here late. Russian, Turkish name, I don't know what it is. Whatever you talking about. What are the consequences of speaking your mind? Let's pray for Gaza too. So I don't know what this name is supposed to be. Maybe you could send me a English version of that so I could try to pronounce it. But let me answer that for you. What are the consequences of speaking your mind? It's not the consequences of speaking your mind. There are no consequences. There should be no consequences to speaking your mind. But when you speak intentionally to reduce the value in the voices of others, not to support, see, you have to pay attention, right? Because I've been paying attention. The issue and the voice that they wanted Charlie Kirk to have was the voice of tearing down the other side. I don't need you to get more people to align with gun rights and to align with being conservative. I need you to get them to believe it's okay to tear down the other side. That was his mission. His mission wasn't to build up his side because he doesn't. Listen to his speech. Listen to the things he says. Listen to the inflammatory way in which he engages. His context, his points, his words were not intended to build up anything. They were built to tear down. His words were designed to diminish and destroy. It's not speaking his mind, it is choosing the path of destruction. You know, they got this thing, they got this thing they say where they say, man, you chose violence. You woke up and chose violence. They said a lot about women. Like it's just, it's just the very first action of the day. Man, she chose violence. It doesn't even have to be violence. It could just be the way somebody asks a question. It could be the topic of the conversation. But it's just to say, dude, you woke up ready. You woke up and started a fight. You were ready to fight. Charlie Kirk's whole platform was built around being inflammatory and reducing and diminishing the views and values of others, not about increasing or building the value of his own. It's not what it was about. Read the words. There's a way to speak about gun violence in a balanced way and not saying it's worth the cost of lives. That's an intentional statement. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, people die, there's school shootings, I get it. But I think it's okay for people to die as long as I keep my right to own a gun. It's worth the cost. Now your family's paying that cost. No, it's not. It's not. No, there's no cost to speaking your mind. There is a cost to intentionally choosing behaviors and actions that are designed to destroy and divide, and then be surprised when those same seeds of dissent and disrespect and demonizing that you've planted, don't plant corn and be surprised when the corn grows. Don't do it. Don't you plant carrots and go out there looking for an apple tree. Don't do it. Don't you go out there planting hate and dissent and division and be surprised that you're not getting hugs. It's not about speaking your mind. It's about the reduction and demonization of other people. He went through it. He went through it. It's what he experienced in high school. It's why he wrote the Breitbart paper because he could see, man, I'm going through it. I'm well off. My parents got everything. I still have to work for what I want to do. Man, that's not fair. Why do I have to qualify for college? My parents are wealthy. Why can't I just buy my way into college? Why can't I just buy my way to class president? Why do I have to work for it? Why is this person being considered and not me? It's only 5 Latinos in my school. How is this Latino person going to get voted in the position? Oh, it's not okay to be white. It's perfectly fine. See, and this is the thing. This is the thing, people. This is the thing. I don't do it. I'm not standing around lamenting being African American and the experiences that I have. I don't look at the past to complain. I don't look at the past to give reasons for failures. I look at the past to learn. The intent, the desire, just the outright obvious. And here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. It's not hidden. It's not a mistake. I talk about it all the time. Man, discipline is powerful. For those of you who watch the channel, you know there are 4 pillars to discipline. It starts with repetition, doing it over and over and over. Then you have to have patience. It's not going to happen today, but I know it's going to happen. Then you have to have consistency. You need to create a plan, follow it, track it, mark your growth. And then you got to persevere. You're going to go through tough times where things aren't going to be your way and everything's not going to work out. But perseverance works on you and what makes you tough so you can be and see what you want to see where you get where you're going. Charlie Kirk did not become who he became by accident. It took work. He had to commit to the goal. He had to get out there and do it over and over when there was 5 people, 15 people, 20 people, 100 people showing up. He had to keep getting out there, keep doing it, keep showing up. He had to be patient. He had to go through election cycle after election cycle after election cycle. He had to watch the people who he supported lose time and time and time again. He had to work, but he was working towards taking care of his family. We think politics, man, politics are a distraction. We think that this is about politics. Talk to someone who's truly wealthy. I don't care who's in office, doesn't matter. The mechanism, the system in place. See, it's a system. Anybody who's wealthy, they'll tell you you make money through a system. You have to set up a system. When you know the system and you work within the framework of the system, you'll achieve your goals. You think your governor is going to determine making what, $350,000 a year? You think he's going to determine really what the billionaires do? What the millionaires within your community do? The people who gave money to both, I'm gonna give you 150,000. I'm gonna give you 75. I'm giving you 75,000 because when we went out, you took me to a horrible restaurant. I'm giving you 150,000 because I like your golf club and I want my children to be in it. Listen to me, man. Listen to me. This whole thing with Charlie Kirk, this whole thing with humanity, this whole thing with us is a ruse. It's a distraction. When you start talking about building, building yourself, building your family, building others, we have to set aside this ridiculousness because this is the dehumanization of people that makes us just not care. Nobody come out and say anything bad when Kobe Bryant and his daughter died in a helicopter crash. Didn't have anything bad to say. Why? Because even though Kobe Bryant was a character on the basketball court, he was humanized. He was a father. He cared. He worked. His words were about building, growing, coming together. Charlie Kirk took up the purpose and the goal of demonizing Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement. Oh, I have the voice. I need to tear the belief in these things down. Why? Listen, I don't get into a lot of politics. And the reason I don't get into a lot of politics, because this is the thing that separates people. You know what brings people together? Sports fans. You know what brings people together? Cookouts. Shoot, barbecue ribs. Man, you bring some people together. Listen, I went on a, I went to tell you this story. I went on a freaking, me and my wife went to Pennsylvania and we went on this whitewater rafting trip. And they say halfway down, people, halfway down, we're going to stop and they have a barbecue. And then we paid for it, and I was like, dude, I don't know. This isn't really white water. It's kind of a creek. But okay, we'll go down. We'll do it. We raft down this thing, and I was like, man, I don't know. Let's get a couple of pictures. It's not really white water though. Man, we got to the halfway point. I'm like, man, I'm ready for this barbecue. Everybody tell me what you get at a barbecue. Everybody tell me what you get at a barbecue. Right. And Schefter made fun of Kobe when he died. And that's the exact example that I'm talking about of tearing people down. And Schefter did that because her intent is to tear people down. And now she's dehumanized herself. And now her life has less value in other people's eyes. We have to stop doing it to ourselves and doing it to others. And guns didn't kill them, people did. What are we talking about? Y'all said guns didn't kill who? Let's pray for Gaza. All He's Greek. MLK died for speaking his mind. So did Malcolm. No, no. So I'm gonna give you a little history about MLK and Malcolm. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X died because they were about unifying people. Martin Luther King died because he had returned to the South to bring together poor white farmers and poor black farmers. His whole platform had gone from civil rights to hey, and listen, that's a different discussion, but just asking somebody to be civil, like literally to have to march and ask, can we be civil? That was an entire movement. But outside of that, Martin Luther King had moved on and he had gone to economics. And he was like, it's about economics. It's not about white and black. We need to kill this white and black stuff. We need to kill it so that we can understand that we got poor white farmers and we got poor black farmers. And then we have wealthy farmers. And it's not about the color of your skin. It's about your money. You have land, you have opportunities, and there is a system in place that is keeping you from being able to profit from it. That's why Martin Luther King was killed. Malcolm X was killed because there was the Nation of Islam that had a specific position that only Africans and blacks were supposed to be Muslim. And then the leader is standing up there with seven white wives. And then he traveled to Mecca and he saw the multicultural nature of the Muslim nation. And he came home and he said, this is who we are. He says, I will no longer tear people down. I will no longer use my position for division. I am bringing people together. And I am going to put on Front Street all of the hypocrisy within the organization I used to be in. He was bringing people together. Boom, got them killed. It's not just about speaking your mind. That's why when we look at the death of Martin Luther King and we look at the death of Malcolm X, it's looked at and movies are made because people are like they had a movement and their focus was bringing people together. The crux of Charlie Kirk's words, statements, and movement was not to build people up or bring people together. It was to divide people and tear structures and systems down. Be in, welcome in, Ryan Quinn. Why are people so certain of the motive for the assassination? It's not about certainty of the motive for the assassination. It's about certainty of the values and the life of the individual. I started with this and simply said, we are dehumanizing people. I started this and explained Charlie Kirk has parents, he has a wife, he has two children, he has a life. We look at him on these podcasts for a couple of hours and a few minutes on videos on news, and we think that this is all he is, and it's not. He's got a whole life. He's got a whole family. And now everyone is so easy to talk about, hey, he's dead because of this. And even get on platforms and applaud and make jokes. And they do it because he's not a human, he's a character. I didn't know he had a wife and kids because I don't follow him. I didn't know he had a wife and kids until he died. Until they came on the news and they were like, yeah, he leaves behind a wife and two young children, a daughter and a son. Are you kidding me? Hey, everybody, listen, I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so yet, please vote in the survey. Also, if you've seen or heard anything you like, please tap that thumbs up. On this channel, we talk about self accountability, we talk about discipline, we talk about motivation, we talk about building and growing. The focus is on growing and getting stronger. So abrupt, no, I know. It's time. I got to get to my kids. I get caught up. I get caught up. I got to get off here. So, so dude, this today the discussion is about being human. It's about us learning to be human and about us reducing our need or our propensity to dehumanize others. See people, meet people, connect with people where they are. Stop making the first thing and the first thing that you talk about and the first discussion you have about politics. Stop it. It separates us. Talk to people about the things that are important to them. Listen, I'm going to tell you something that I learned while I was doing sales. You want to get the form, right? You want to talk to people about the form, you'll get to know them and it'll make them feel better about you and you feel better about them. Form F, ask them about their family. First, next, O, ask them about their occupation. Next, ask them about the things they do to relax. And with that, you'll get the meaning behind who this person is. Stop asking people about their politics. Doesn't matter. Care who you vote for. You're a good person. You're a good person. I don't care what your nationality is. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a bad person, you're a bad person. That's what the talk is about today. It's about we need to stop dehumanizing people. We need to focus on growth, development, and build for our future. It's what we do here on the channel. Please, if you haven't, please like, subscribe, and share. Take an opportunity to take a look at the channel and the content that we put up. Continue to grow yourself, grow your lives, and check back in because I'm here Monday through Saturday. My wife and I have to travel. She's having an operation coming up. Please check out my family page. It's the baby birds. There you will see more of my wife and my children and some of the things that we do on a daily basis. Also, if you're interested, the shop is now open. You can go to the description on the page, and there's a link for you to shop for the B&B apparel right there in the spread shop. Brian Quinn said, I agree. Noah, you're right. This can be so abrupt. Thank you very much for being here, Noah. Christian Play says, anyone who's happy about someone being killed over politics is disgusting. Absolutely. The tragedy has sadly been very eye opening regarding how little people actually value life. And I'm honestly sick of it. I agree absolutely because we're dehumanizing people. and we have to stop doing it. Hey, everybody, as I said earlier, I believe discipline is the way to achieve any goal. I know it is because I've used it and I've applied it. Discipline has four pillars: repetition, patience, consistency, and perseverance. Perseverance is the thing that builds you. I want everyone to continue to go out, be blessed. Today is 9/11. Don't just remember the atrocities, remember the greatness, remember the love, remember the experiences of your life that have happened over time. And use this day to continue to build yourself and build up others. Until next time, guys, keep showing up, keep blowing up, keep growing up. You guys take care. Have a